Oh my God. All of that, and there was absolutely no audio. How, what an embarrassment. I suppose we'll have to start the show over again. I just was thanking all of you guys for showing up, as always, supporting the show. And I took a moment to say, in crypto,
You have a problem with sound.
thanks, Beb. I just figured it out. There was my engineer. Thanks, L. So, having been in crypto for so long, it's hard to keep up with everything. I learned so much. I learned as much as I do from making the show myself, as I do from the ticker over here about what's happening in crypto, as I do from you guys in the comments. Uh, and still, it's so difficult to keep up. For example, I was trying to call you guys based. I was saying you guys are so based for showing up. Do I know what that means? Absolutely not. I'm still trying to understand what proto dank sharding is and how that works so I can better serve you guys, let alone what based is. But I do know that that is a good thing in the crypto vernacular. and all the terms constantly coming up. So thank you guys for supporting. I'm glad the sound is back up and for letting me know. Thank you for the support, guys. So let's go ahead and dig into it. We have a lot to get into it. As you could imagine, it's a Monday in crypto, so no shortage of happenings, and so we will just go ahead and get into that. So here is what's going on with the prices. We have Bitcoin up 1.3% at $19,527. Ethereum up 1.9% at $1,330. There was quite a bit of FUD, I guess you could say, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Not completely misplaced, I guess you could say, in reference to Ethereum. A lot of that having to do with perhaps some of the transactions that might seem like they're not being included. So this caused a lot of Bitcoin maximalists to be saying, hey, look, Ethereum now bows to the US government. They're censoring transactions. They're not being put in there. And it is the case that it's taking longer for certain transactions that might be associated, for example, with Tornado Cash to be included in blocks. So like over 50% of blocks that are being mined and proposed are not being they're not including these transactions. So that's what's led to a lot of this. Although it's basically just taking 24 seconds for those kinds of illegal transactions to get included in blocks as opposed to 12 seconds. It didn't stop Bitcoin maximalists from pointing it out, and it to lead people to say Cardano is going to be overtaking Ethereum soon. I think that was something BitBoy was saying recently. In the next 4 to 10 years, it's going to be happening. You have Solana as well in the spotlight. And you had the ratio of Bitcoin to Ethereum leaning more definitely towards Bitcoin. But I see that some of that is dying away again as you're seeing Ethereum up actually higher than Bitcoin today, as some of the nuances around that is being brought up. No, there's discussions about proposer builder separation, and that is something that's going to be coming with dank sharding for Ethereum, a future upgrade that's already on the roadmap, and that will be fixing some of the issues with miner extractable value that has led to people adopting certain relays and certain basically software that you can run so that they can get bigger fees that are the ones that are censoring these transactions. And so basically in a nutshell, this is being worked out, but in the short term, it's just taking some transactions longer, and it is leading to, I guess, more education about how a lot of this works, which is good for some people. But anyway, it's not the death knell for Ethereum. As we can see here, it's back up to $1,330. As we continue to, that's just the nature of these anti-fragile decentralized networks, is that there are oftentimes a lot of different proposals. Some get scrapped and some get modified and so on. Like sharding was coming out for Ethereum, but that was scrapped in favor of dank sharding with a new roll-up centric roadmap and so on. So point is, these networks continue to go forward, and when issues are brought up, they just serve to elucidate them so that more and more of the smartest developers in the world can build on them. But anyway, yeah, Ethereum isn't dead for the people who are waiting to hear what I have to say on the matter. I don't see it being dead by any means. Yet. Have I heard about the Zen Mint airdrop? Yeah, Rob Groove. I talked a little bit about that. I haven't really gotten into it myself, and yeah, I haven't sadly dug too much into the white paper, but it is something that has been driving the network up. Although it looks like gas fees did come down for Ethereum, down to 19 gigaway. So yeah, it was like up to like 285 gigaway, the fees for a while there. Beached Whale, click cryptocurrency, and then select Spotlight. Hex is number one. Oh, I remember reading about that. That I think that was actually on CoinMarketCap. It was being shared that the most looked up crypto is Hex. I don't know. I guess that's something to brag about. Hex never lies. Tell all 20 people watching. Okay, man. There you go, Beached Whale. But thank you for joining me here on the show. So if we actually click on the 24-hour price increase chart, you can see that some of the biggest gainers on the day are Huobi token, you have Lido, and you have Maker up 10% for Maker. I saw some discussion about why is Maker suddenly pumping so much. There's some tinfoil hat theories being shared that Circle, the creators of USDC, are buying up this governance token for Maker in order to have more of an influence on the network. No real concrete proof there so far, but it would be interesting just to bring it up to you guys, as always rumored and talked about things if that were the case. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. What's going on with the negatives here? Casper Network, it's not too bad. Down 7%. Celsius Network down 4.1%. And ENS down 2.6%. Yeah, that was another airdrop that was given out for free to folks. Sadly, I did not claim it during the claiming period, but I understand some people were able to earn quite a bit of ETH from if they were able to sell that and not hold on to it for very long. It is down quite a bit from all-time highs, right? We can check that out here. Yeah, down 76.8% ENS token. Ouch. At $83.40. Now that we're done dawdling here on CoinGecko, we should probably continue on with the show. Just waiting for you viewers to show up, and wanted to remind you to hit that like button if you do enjoy the streams. It'll be a big help as we continue to grow the show back. Although I love having you guys, many of you guys have been watching for the longest times, the old timers, the people who stick around in the bear market. I love hearing what you guys have to say, the hardcore hodlers. So I thought this was an interesting comment here that I found on Reddit. Signs that we reached the bottom by Bagogel 12 casual ship poster. The daily crypto price volatility is lower than the stock markets. If you want some action, head over to Amazon with 6% plus casually in a day. Meta, Facebook up 6%. Coinbase up 9%. Like Coinbase stock. Tesla up 7%, Roblox up 20%, Netflix up 15%, Snow up 9%, and Ether enjoying its 3%, although it's actually even less than that right now, right? It was like 1.8%. Crypto looks dull. So I am personally reticent to bring out that meme that constantly shows up where someone is poking crypto or ETH or Bitcoin with a stick and saying, come on, do something. Because it feels like every time that one of those memes is trending on Twitter or Reddit or somewhere else, the market it does something. It collapses usually. So the lack of a collapse to me is, I guess, more of a sign that maybe we have bottomed and crypto just it doesn't want to continue down much further. It's interesting that the stock market is basically now the leveraged version of crypto, since we have been basically trending flat outside of situations with the extreme volatility like we saw towards the end of last week with the Fed CPI announcement that caused basically traders who are leveraged either long or short to all get wrecked. Outside of those things, we're basically range bound for cryptocurrencies here. So just a nice slow period we should be somewhat enjoying. Although it does look like maybe we are breaking out. This is Bitcoin / US dollar. As I did point out recently, breaking out of this longer term downtrend, I think that would be quite a good thing outside of the bloodbaths. Unless you're someone shorting these things and wanting more of a bloodbath, I guess it's not going in your favor. This was brought up. I thought it was worth showing you guys by Corey2140. What is the normie, the normal person who doesn't talk about crypto all day, every day, or thinking about it? What is the normie explanation for rising parabolic floors on the Bitcoin chart over 13 years? Like, honestly, I'm pretty sure that the explanation for the rest of us who have been around for a while and have done kind of the homework is that money is being printed exponentially to service exponential levels of debt. If that debt is not created and serviced, then the whole system falls apart. And because of the rising money count, whatever you want to call it yourself, I know it used to be inflation, but now inflation applies apparently only to prices, basically the issuance of fiat. That is likely what is the cause, I would expect, for the rising floors like this. And Bitcoin, of course, has the longest history of cryptocurrencies, but I think it'll apply to other cryptocurrencies. And I'm not a person who thinks it's only going to be Bitcoin in the future. I think there will be more and more options, but Bitcoin is just there, right? It's continued to produce blocks day after day without downtime. It has quite a level of decentralization compared to other projects that is unrivaled, and it was created by still an anonymous founder. There's something powerful and almost beautiful and magical about Bitcoin that leads me to not being a maximalist for any one coin, although I do think that this chart will you'll have other charts that look like this as we go forward through time. But Bitcoiner OG posted this. This was being shared far and wide under all sorts of quotes. But in case you missed it, I will share it with you. Jameson Lopp, Bitcoiner OG's version of this video, where he put up on Twitter, "Bitcoiners be like." Oh man. One more time? Nah, you guys can rewind. No words. That was one of the fiercest bear attacks since Vitalik's painting that had been circulated before of him punching the bear. I think this is possibly going down in Bitcoin history as one of the fiercest attacks against the bear market. It's true, again, though, that Bitcoin has been quite resilient. Hopefully the bear doesn't come back and win. Anyway, this is some of the biggest things that is in the news, is all pretty much related to Yi. It's affecting the cryptocurrency market and the normie market alike. A lot of what's been going on with Yi, which is Kanye West's name formerly, former rapper, I guess you could say. Kanye West was spotted supposedly wearing a Satoshi Nakamoto cap. Depending on what picture, I couldn't really find a real source for where this picture came from, but apparently he was out in Beverly Hills and was spotted promoting Bitcoin after, as the stories will tell you, after being kicked out of JP Morgan Chase, who some woman named Candace or something like that had put up a letter from the bank, JP Morgan Chase, to Kanye West talking about the closure of his accounts. And so that's basically how the story originally circulated. But the big news today with Kanye West is that he has bought a free speech Twitter alternative platform called Parler. I think I still have an account on Parler, but yeah, he's agreed to purchase Parler, and the deal is expected to close at some point in the fourth quarter here, according to MarketWatch. Yi was recently banned from Twitter after making anti-Semitic comments. He was also banned from Instagram by Meta, and so he is now trying to promote free speech after some of his recent remarks, which I'm not really going to get into in this video, but you can find it for yourself if that's of news. After those caused quite a stir, and he's being basically canceled, I don't know, for the 100th time everywhere else, but now he's decided he's going to be buying Parler, which has been associated with some of the cryptocurrency crowd since 2018 when it first came out. And he's, I guess, going to be posting there for the most part. The Nashville-based company has raised about $56 million to date, although we do not know an actual valuation nor what he will be purchasing the company for. But it's, I guess, the next big social media company purchase since Elon Musk's announcement of Twitter. I mean, I think it's like he's going to buy Twitter, he's not going to buy Twitter. He's going to buy Twitter. The last I heard, he's going to buy Twitter. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Although it looks like he's not going to have quite a huge voice on the platform as he might have if, for example, he was posting on Facebook that has apparently 2.9 billion monthly active users. And you have Twitter that has over 200 million monetizable daily active users. Although from what I've seen, if looking at that as though it were true, I guess you can monetize bots, since Twitter bots was a big reason that Elon Musk wanted to reverse his decision to buy Twitter, is that apparently there were way too many bots on the platform. So yeah, that's the big one. But this is the other picture, right? That's why I'm saying I can't really find a source as to what exactly Kanye West was doing when he was wearing his Satoshi Nakamoto hat, because I'm finding different pictures of him out there after he was banned from Chase Bank and all his accounts, right? Supposedly. But I just thought it was funny, this one, because more remarkable than the Satoshi Nakamoto cap is the shoes, right? That has been quite a bit more meme worthy, is the rubber shoes. Like, I saw a picture of him with these shoes that were enlarged even bigger, like almost all the way up to his hip, that I thought was quite hilarious. Yi is crazy, says Renee Pop, but a great marketing opportunity to folks to pay attention to him and not to crypto. That's true. I mean, he is probably still growing his fan base. And I imagine it would be a lot like Alex Jones. When Alex Jones was deplatformed, he actually grew even bigger on the other platforms that he was active on afterwards, looking at accounts. His follower count grew up even larger, and he was the subject of mainstream attention. So there's something, what is the name of that effect, right? When you try to, we last talked about it with Ben Armstrong, with BitBoy, right? When he was trying to deflect away from the lawsuit and it actually ended up drawing more attention to it and more attention to himself. It's the kind of situation here that's going on with him, is that maybe he is getting more influence. But I guess the normies, right? A lot of the normie crowd, people who get their information disseminated from mainstream social media, mainstream news. I think the most part, people are starting to hate Kanye West for some of his comments. And so I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird situation. Thank you so much, Renee. There you are. The Barbara Streisand effect. Thank you, Wendell, as well. The Streisand effect. I think that's what's going on here. So I don't know. Are people going to see this picture in the news and be like, but what is Satoshi Nakamoto? Oh, Bitcoin. And they haven't heard of Bitcoin yet. I think most people, at least in the first world, have at least heard of Satoshi Nakamoto. And the name probably rings a bell. That would be a fun one, right? Maybe somebody can do a video going up to random people and being like, hey, do you know who Satoshi Nakamoto is? Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? I would imagine that most people, and that's here, at least in LA, have heard of Satoshi Nakamoto. But I could be wrong. And at the very least have heard of Bitcoin. And digital currency is synonymous with Bitcoin, as we've seen in many places. But I think if this was like 2016, this would probably be drawing more attention to cryptocurrencies. But anyway, if anything, it might be making cryptos look bad and like more for the crazies, because they're basically saying that Yi is a crazy now. And so I don't know. I don't know if this is good or bad. Maybe it's a net even if we look at it. Is crypto still in Vegas? Elmery is still around, and I'm actually in Los Angeles right now, but that'll probably be changing very soon for many reasons. Bear market, not the only reason, but many other reasons. But anyway, the reason I've been saying that this news, the way that this was all being framed about, oh, look, he's wearing his Satoshi Nakamoto cap because he got banned from Chase Bank, so now he's supporting cryptos, just does not seem to be the real story. As you can see here on anywhere you pretty much look, but this is just ABC that wrote Kanye West, JP Morgan Chase Bank breakup planned for weeks, not related to anti-Semitic comments. So it came out that what the mainstream media was originally saying was completely wrong. Kanye West had announced that he was going to be breaking up with JP Morgan Chase as early, like many months ago, basically. So this was already planned. He was going to be moving away. And so this was not a result of his recent anti-Semitic comments. He had said on September 12th, for example, to Bloomberg, he planned on cutting much of his corporate ties, saying it's time for me to go alone. Yeah, apparently he hasn't been very happy either with JP Morgan Chase. Take this for other reasons, right? I mean, more succinctly, he said on Parler itself, as it says here, I put $140 million into JP Morgan and they treated me like shit. So if JP Morgan Chase is treating me like that, how are they treating the rest of y'all? And yeah, I just went to Parler. I hadn't been there in a while to see what it was like. Candace Owens says here, today in Black History, Yi, formerly known as Kanye West, became the first black man in the world to own a social media company. That's it. That's the headline. I guess. Okay. And yeah, that was the official announcement from Parler. Parler Technologies is pleased to announce that it has entered into an agreement in principle for Yi, formerly known as Kanye West, to acquire the Parler platform. The acquisition ensures Parler a future role in creating an uncancelable ecosystem where all voices are welcome. Says Parler CEO George Farmer, this deal will change the world and change the way the world thinks about free speech. Yi is making a groundbreaking move into the free speech media space and will never have to fear being removed from social media again. Yeah. So yeah, Parler only has 16 million registered users, but probably less active accounts. So I don't know. I think it was stated here somewhere or somewhere else that it was only like 250,000 monthly active users or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe he'll be able to grow it. Maybe he will be drawing attention to Parler and maybe cryptocurrencies. He does have a huge following, of course. Many people do respect what he has to say. There's a lot more drama going around this, but I'm not going to get into it. For example, if you want to look for it yourself, something related to fentanyl and him and George Floyd. It looks like George Floyd's family is going to be suing him because he has been saying that fentanyl is the problem for respiratory issues and that the cop's knee was not on his neck, that it was on his knee. So others pointing out that Kanye West might be having some sort of mental illness right now, bipolar disorder. He stopped taking medication, and that's why he's saying off these off-the-wall comments. It's just difficult for me to know what exactly he is saying unless you hear it from the horse's mouth, right? Since there is just so much propaganda out there, and this being such like a mainstream thing, it's ripe for exploitation by everyone. See, the crypto people are exploiting it. The left, the right are exploiting it. Everyone is just exploiting it, and man, I think it's time we just move on from that bit of news. Oh, yay, 30 watchers and 1 bot, says Wendell. Yeah, good thing he's gone by now. Thanks a lot for that, L. So it looks like FTX is under probe and Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of FTX, by a Texas securities regulator. So FTX came up after they were having to do with bankruptcy with Voyager and that whole situation, but went under after the whole debacle that happened this summer with Three Arrows Capital and Terra Luna and all of that. But yes, Jason Rotunda, a lawyer, had to give his own statement here in the Voyager bankruptcy case, and he brought up what's going on there with FTX, talks about making his own account there and how FTX was not supposed to be servicing U.S. customers, but they in fact were. He downloaded the application through a link on the website. He had announced his real address, his real name, and was able to earn a yield. Dang it! No! You're giving me money more than the 0.01% I'm earning on my savings account at a bank, and you're giving it to other citizens here of Texas. Oh no. You're offering me 8% on my ETH. He deposited $50, but it was going to take too long for his money to get in there. So instead, he deposits 0.1 ETH and was immediately able. You can now earn yield on your crypto purchases and deposits as well as your fiat balances in your FTX trading app. By opting in and participating in staking your supported assets in your FTX account, you'll be able to earn up to 8% APY on your staked assets. This APY is estimated and not guaranteed as described below, but apparently it was just defaulting to giving him some sort of API, and that was a sin. So now Texas securities regulator is going to be looking into FTX and to the founder of Sam Bankman-Fried for their lies and saying that they're not servicing U.S. customers, but in fact were, especially in regards to this yields. Since we saw what happened with Voyager, we've seen what's happened with Celsius, and this could be potentially a problem. FTX specifically, so that's happening. That's some other bit of news you might want to know about. Ripple has begun testing a sidechain. This is being reported by CoinDesk, a sidechain that is compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine, and they've just launched in private a testnet. It looks like basically the Ethereum virtual machine is what runs smart contracts for Ethereum, and this would be a compatible sidechain that would allow the XRP ecosystem to interact with the Ethereum ecosystem in whatever ways, and could probably bring more value, as it says here. Ripple and XRPL stand to gain value, probably more than Ethereum, I would argue, but stand to potentially benefit because the work developers have already put into building Ethereum smart contracts could be leveraged in the entirely separate Ripple ecosystem. So this announcement that came out today is part of a 3-step process. Second phase is going to go live in early 2023 when the EVM sidechain will go permissionless. And then in the final part of the year, third phase in the second quarter of the year, unless there are delays. Ripple is going to fully deploy the software. Ripple CTO David Schwartz told CoinDesk that our goal in 2023 is to have an EVM sidechain connected to the XRPL mainnet. The bridge in the final solution will be decentralized, and all components of the solution will be production ready to handle real-world scale and use cases. We also know that Ripple is working with, for example, the bank for central banks, BIS, and they're listed as a partner, and they're working to maybe develop central bank digital currencies. So I remember seeing like at least one tweet today that was like, why are we all cheering like XRP for working with central banks just because we feel like central banks are going to win in the end, and so that's going to be giving value? And we all know the answer. Quick buck. Let's give up our freedom because they already won anyway. And we'll get a quick buck. But I remember when it was much easier as a value proposition to get into Ripple when it was sub-penny. And now it's worth quite a bit more. But at least the founders have offloaded a lot of what they had. And they have left less and less to dump on buyers of the token. So I guess at least that XRP has going for it. I don't know. I thought this was worthy of bringing up for you guys as well. So it looks like there is a miner on BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. You can see here in the black, accruing more and more hash power, taking over the network and not including transactions in certain blocks, mining empty blocks in an attack that is being seen by the Bitcoin Association for BSV. So they put out this information today in this press release. No, I'm sorry, yesterday. I just heard about it today. Bitcoin Association is taking action to contact all relevant exchanges and miners to freeze all block rewards associated with this malicious miner, and will be pursuing criminal charges. They love the courts. We know the BSVers against the entity/entities responsible. We encourage this miner to contact Bitcoin Association at legalbitcoinassociation.net within 24 hours to resolve this dispute. So yes, give up your anonymity. We haven't been able to figure out who you are so that we can sue you. Yeah, that's a wise course of action to be taking. Anyway, situation. There currently exists a majority miner on the Bitcoin SV network. It's been able to take over the network, producing empty blocks. This miner intentionally obfuscates their Coinbase string with a constantly changing string, but is commonly identifiable by this address here, where the Coinbase rewards are being sent. Alongside trying to be anonymous while mining a global public ledger, we have observed a pattern of malicious activity from this miner that has been increasing week after week. This miner has been mining BSV since 2020. Prior to June of this year, this miner acted honestly and mined many blocks full of fee-paying structures. Yeah, that makes sense. Full of fee-paying structures. However, in June of this year, re-emerged on the network mining empty blocks alongside other suspicious behavior. They have steadily been increasing their hash rate on the chain for months. So then they go into talking about how there exist rules and nodes have to follow. And this node is not following the rules by mining empty blocks. So it's all right for us to basically try to freeze these transactions and contact everyone else in the network to freeze it. It's just silly. I'll recommend you go ahead and check this out for yourself if you want to read more about it. Just bringing up the drama. Statement on empty block miner. Could this be the end? It'll be I don't know if this will be the end for either BSV or the end for, I doubt it, or the end for this miner who's going to be sued. Ooh. But at the very least, it's some interesting development here for BSV that I wanted to bring up for you guys. What do you BSVers have to say about this whole situation with this dishonest miner? Let me know in the comments down below. Wasabi Wallet. There was someone I saw, I forgot to take the name down, who had discovered this that was posted on the Wasabi Wallet.io website FAQ. So Wasabi Wallet basically allows you to mix your Bitcoin, much like Tornado Cash was doing for Ethereum, but basically automatically mix it by using this wallet that uses CoinJoin technology in order to mix these coins. But someone noticed in the FAQ that if you go to this, just kind of just interesting, I guess you could say. If you look at this question, does Wasabi support altcoins? Wow, they were hardcore Bitcoin maximalists in their response when they wrote, "There are countless reasons why it is the only legal choice to be Bitcoin. Logical choice." I'm sorry, that's not BSV. We're talking about Bitcoin, real BTC. But anyway, there are countless reasons why it is the only logical choice to be Bitcoin only. With Bitcoin, we have a once in a lifetime opportunity to manifest Libra sound money. If we succeed, then an utmost beautiful agora of sovereign individuals may emerge. If we fail, then this will conjure up the most horrific Orwellian nightmare. There is no room for wasted time and energy. This great work requires our full attention. Any line of code written to support a random shitcoin takes away scarce developer time to work on real problems. Yeah. Take that, shitcoins. Bitcoin maximalists got you there. It would be nice if they just supported other altcoins, right? They've supported more privacy. I think by supporting privacy on other coins and supporting things like BTC, for example, wrapped versions of Bitcoin, and having truly private networks in other regards, that it would be beneficial to Bitcoin and its own fungibility, since the network is so intertwined. Although some of the maximalists would not like to, they still think that Bitcoin lives in its own bubble in 2022, but whatever, I digress. I totally understand, however, focusing on just one real cause and one real product. So still respect what they're doing over at Wasabi Wallet. Not trying to hate on them in any degree. Just want to show that to you guys. Anyway, there was this also worth bringing up here. So CryptoPunks, some of the most valuable NFTs that are out there. When they came out originally, any wallet with Ethereum could mint any of the 10,000 CryptoPunks that came out. It looks like this wallet minted 141 of those punks for 0.0207 ETH, which is now estimated to have a value of over 11,000 ETH, as brought up here by Nansen Intern on Twitter. They wrote, however, the wallet has had no activity since for both NFTs and crypto, other than receiving fake tokens, these airdrops, the Monerium, right, token, these scam tokens, lost their seed phrase. That's the address smithdavid888.eth. And the reason that it has that name is further described here in the tweet. They were sent the ENS, so that domain token, smithdavid888.eth 8 months ago. But following its trail to the resolved address takes you to a connected suspended Twitter account and now various other LARP/likely scam accounts using it as a front, knowing it is inactive. So it does not necessarily link to any individual person. We still don't know who this is. It's a weird situation. So you have a very rich address. It's worth something like $15 million with what CryptoPunks are worth now, although they were worth a lot more during the bull market, at least in fiat terms for the most part. But pretty crazy that this wallet has 141 punks that I guess are taken out of circulation. There's a lot of, as a complete aside to this, some of what's being discussed around NFTs right now is people like, whoa, wait, maybe NFTs aren't going to save the world. I based my entire personality on NFTs. And now I'm realizing maybe NFTs are just like tokens that aren't, they're basically treated as the newest kinds of tokens to just make money. And they're not benefiting artists in the form of royalties and others. Oh, man. There's so much confusion in the NFT space about what this is. So many created narratives, but I don't know. There's something there. But I think the reality of what's going on with NFTs is finally hitting some folks out there in the bear market. But anyway, I think CryptoPunks are cool. Some of the coolest NFTs out there, as I've said. I just wanted to bring that up for you guys. Anyway, if you missed this quote, I retweeted it the other day when I read it because I thought it was quite phenomenal. You have Robert Kiyosaki. He still has a very active talk show where he goes on with his wife, has guests on. I think it can be informative, although he's quite full of himself as a rich person, I think. But yeah, he became very famous after authoring this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this idea of owning assets versus liabilities, and he came out with this quite a controversial tweet because he's someone who's supported real estate, and that's how he made a lot of his money early on. He supported real estate, and now apparently he's not. Look at the tweet. Why I no longer recommend real estate. In my 2022 book, Capitalist Manifesto, I stated Marxists took over the US in the 2020 election. Marxists will raise property taxes, impose rent controls as rising interest rates decrease property values. I recommend gold, silver, Bitcoin. Interesting. So I guess if he rewrote some of his earlier books, he would be talking about Bitcoin. He could not have foreseen how Bitcoin could be one of the better options out there. But anyway, yeah, controversial tweet for several reasons there. Probably shouldn't harp on this too much if we would like to stay monetized on YouTube. I thought that might be of note to you guys. Oh, look, he's one of our followers here. Eves, what's up, Eves? We'll get that liked out there. Robert has also featured Hex on his show. I did not know that. That would be an interesting show to watch. I wonder what he had to say about that. Thanks for the heads up, Beach Whale. So this was a big story that played out towards the end of last week. I did not make a video to cover it, but I thought, hey, we do cover the main things that are happening in cryptocurrencies, and we do have some viewers that have relied on the show to know what is happening in the grand scale of things and to know what's going on in the culture of crypto. So I thought there was an interesting cultural bullet point that got hit in some of this news that played out with Brown Backpack Guy. So I don't know what kind of show this would be if I didn't take the opportunity to talk about Brown Backpack Guy. But it started when this account Daphne.lens brought this up. Day one of ETH DevCon, so Ethereum Foundation's DevCon conference, just took place, and that's where this story started to blow up. And a group of us women got harassed by a gross guy. What did the Ethereum Foundation team do? Smiled and chatted with him for 10 minutes and let him go on his way. I feel horribly unsafe at this event. Down. Take women seriously when they report harassment. She put the down thumbs because apparently, and this is something else happening culturally, it's so weird. Twitter is just weird. If you put this, if you haven't heard that yet, if you put thumbs up, that's seen as passive aggressive and really rude, right? You can't use thumbs up anymore. So good thing she went thumbs down. But anyway, this eventually resulted in the Brown Backpack Guy putting out a post here on Twit Longer that talked about what happened in his own experiences, because there was really no proof originally brought up, no real allegations, just someone who took a picture of some dude at the conference and put it up and put him on blast for everyone to see. So, and this was posted by Brown Backpack Guy saying, "Hi, I'm the Brown Backpack Guy, and I have been harassed, humiliated, name-called, kicked out of events, and even threatened by fellow community members. All of this while I'm completely innocent and working transparently with the event organizers, Ethereum Foundation, mediators, witnesses. I put my trust and reputation in the hands of them, and now that is all gone. I am a software engineer and a guest of DevCon Bogota, where the event took place. These 3 days have been the worst days of my life. What started off as an amazing week turned dark really quick when I had an encounter with one of the members of Blue DAO. This is how it all started and how events quickly escalated. As unlucky as this gets, this all happened on the day one of DevCon during lunchtime next to the 3D photo booth, next to the main entrance with a lot of security staff and overall high traffic of people. I have an interest in photography, and I think the setup for the 3D booth is pretty amazing. I started a conversation with the photographer about it while he was taking photos of the guests. The photographer always recommended people to jump so the picture looks cool in 3D. Next up was a group of 11 persons wanting to take a 3D photo. They started off by all crouching. This is where the photographer usually would recommend the group to jump instead. I wanted to be helpful, so I told the group, jump. The photo will look much better. They started waving me off. One particular member of this group response was, "Who the F are you?" Maybe they misheard, so I repeated to myself, "Jump, it will look better." She responded, "Who the F are you? Who the F is this guy? Get out." I was shocked and confused by the response, and it was clear that they had heard me but just didn't want to receive my message. I looked back at the photographer. He shrugged it off, and I did a thumbs down expression, showing I didn't appreciate their reaction to what I thought was a helpful comment. Some minutes later, I was approached by 2 staff members of DevCon. Without saying anything, they flipped the ID badge around my neck to check my identity. They asked if I'm a speaker. I said, "No, I'm just a guest." I asked back, "Why did you flip my badge without asking? I might want to be anonymous." "You can't just go around flipping people's badges like this." They responded by saying some women felt harassed by me without giving the reason why. I explained myself and what happened, and they responded by saying they will let me stay inside, but warned me not to do something like that again, and walked away. On my way to take some refreshments, 2 other staff members approached me. They told me I have been harassing women at the event by booing at them. I explained myself again and told them I wasn't booing anyone. She pointed out the DevCon's code of conduct that everyone should be treated with respect and that everyone should be safe and comfortable at the conference. I pointed out that I'm actually starting to feel uncomfortable and harassed. The lady I was speaking to was respectful, understanding, and polite, but she still insisted that I should stop harassing the women. On my way to the scaffolds.eth talk, 2 security guards were following me up the escalator. In front of the exit of the escalator, they stopped me. This was extremely awkward for me because the people behind couldn't exit normally without pushing themselves out of the situation. I felt very ashamed, and people were looking at me like I had done something wrong. The guards didn't speak English and were saying something in Spanish. I didn't understand much and was standing there confused. A group of random people was asking what was happening. I said I didn't understand what the security was saying. The lady from the group helped translate, and she turned back around to me, took a step back in shock, asking, "You have been taking photos of the girls?" I was shocked and said, "What?" She repeated the question again. "You have been taking photos of the girls?" I was forced to pull out and show my phone. They checked all my photos, including my deleted photos. They saw nothing unusual. Without knowing, the accuser from Blue Dao was standing behind us all the time. The security pointed at her that it was her claiming these false accusations. They went through my phone a second time. This time the accuser was also looking at my phone. Again, without finding anything, the guards still checked me and recorded my name. I left the situation feeling ashamed, harassed, and vulnerable. During the rest of the time, the accuser was stalking me and tried to avoid her and her friends to not experience any more humiliating situations. During the next hour, I felt that everyone was looking at me. Maybe I just was imagining this, I thought. Later, a colleague of mine showed me that my face was all over crypto Twitter in a post made by Daphne from Blue Dao. This is the same lady that cursed, harassed, and falsely accused and violated my privacy. I left DevCon Tuesday afternoon and haven't come back since. Yesterday night, my friends persuaded me to try to relax, to go out and have some fun. While trying to forget about all of this, we went to the Ave, to the rave by Ave. In the line to get inside, it happened that the accuser was behind me and skipped the line in front of me to stand with her friends. They recognized me and tried to take photos of me during the whole 30 minutes of waiting in line. While inside on a crowded dance floor, 3 huge security guys stormed the dance floor with torches to pull me out and kick me from the club. This happened in front of hundreds of other guests and was extremely humiliating for me. From what we were told, Blue Dao requested for me to be removed by sending pictures of me to the event organizers. Wow, right? So that was blowing up all over Twitter. There was suddenly a lot of distaste for this Daphne person towards Blue Dao, of them, who were the group of women who were there with Blue Dao, and basically everyone turning on this and saying, wow, look at this woman basically saying all this accusatory stuff without providing any sort of proof, and he had become kind of a victim here, black backpack guy, after recounting his story. And then you had everyone from the Ethereum Foundation, even friends of mine, kind of remarking on their experiences with this whole situation. You had Kanye, who wrote this. Most of the members of Blue DAO are great people working towards a good cause. Despite this, there have been things around their finances, so now picking on Blue DAO specifically, that I personally have found questionable. I've refrained from calling them out, and it's something that has bothered me for a long time. I've struggled with this for a long time and have consulted friends and mentors. Part of me thinks it's my job to call out scams and bad behavior. The other part of me didn't want to start drama and potentially have a story misconstrued and my reputation damaged, but ooh, this is too juicy to not suddenly start outing what I know, thinks Cami. The Harmony community, their primary funding source, has been calling them out on the Harmony forum for a long time, accusing them of misusing grant money, using the DAO to economically benefit the two founders personally, and using a relationship to break rules. I've done my homework and gathered receipts because I would never accuse anyone without proof. I've even gone as far as to try to get them to do a KYC where I asked for financial privacy after they approached Women Build Web3 to partner with us. Everything is public. And shared all of this. Anyway, so suddenly they started getting dug into for finances because of what was being shared by Brown Black Backpack Guy and by Daphne. What's up, Meredith? She is the victim. No way she made that up. And I didn't know how this was playing out, Meredith, myself, as I was just watching it almost in real time come out. But eventually we did get more of a response from Daphne. So maybe it is a situation where Brown Backpack Guy was not coming out with the whole truth when he did his write-up originally, because eventually we got a detailed response from Daphne in her newsletter here. She wrote, the dark side of the crypto community. Now that I have arrived home to physical safety, I'd like to share my personal account of the DevCon harassment incident, including details from the formal report issued to the ETH team, the Ethereum Foundation team, at 11:17 on October 13th. While this incident involves other people, I want to reiterate that this is my personal statement and I'm not speaking on behalf of any organization or DAO. On the morning of October 11th, I, along with 10 other women, entered DevCon for the first time and decided to take a picture in front of the 360 cameras. After taking a few minutes to decide what pose we wanted to do as a group, we were ready to take the picture. At this point, there was a man behind the camera verbally booing and taunting us, which Brown Backpack Guy said he never booed, right? So far up to this, the story checked out, which is where it completely just forks off, right? Where, yeah, there was a 360-degree camera near the front, and there was someone behind the camera, Brown Backpack Guy apparently, but they said verbally booing, or she said verbally booing and taunting us, giving us a thumbs down and making fun of what we were doing in front of the camera. Multiple people in our group asked who this man was, as we were not sure if he was associated with the cameraman or not. Several women in the group told him to leave us alone, verbally repeating, "Stop it, knock it off, and go away." Multiple people even said, "Stop harassing us." It continued even after stating repeatedly that we wanted the harassment to stop. And I'm happy to help, Meredith, yeah. And that we wanted him to leave us alone. At this point, I asked the cameraman himself to tell this man to leave us alone. So now we know it wasn't the cameraman. This was someone else other than the actual cameraman, so Brown Backpack Guy. He was told again to leave us alone and yet refused, and remained in place behind the camera, continuing the same harassing behavior. I want to be clear that any type of disrespectful and unwanted behavior that is degrading and humiliating and repeatedly called out and yet it still continues is 100% harassment. I think we would all agree that is the definition of harassment. Harassment, as defined by NACO, is unwanted conduct with the purpose or effect of violating the dignity of a person and creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, or offensive environment based on their race, color, sex, sexual orientation, religion, national origin, disability, and or age, among other things. The photo was taken and everyone moved away from the photo area. The vibe at that point was off. People said, "That was so weird, I'm uncomfortable," and "he was creepy." Someone in the group found the DevCon code of conduct and confirmed that the behavior experienced, harassment by definition, is not tolerated by EF. I sought out assistance from the Ethereum Foundation team to report the incident to keep those affected safe. First, I asked volunteers to help. Then I asked volunteer leads to escalate to the Ethereum Foundation team. One individual from the Ethereum Foundation team eventually did come, spoke briefly to 3 out of the 11 impacted individuals. This was confirmed by Hudson Jameson on Twitter. Another EF rep then came, and both of them then proceeded to talk directly to the harasser only for around 10 minutes, laughed and smiled with him, and let him go without telling us any details about the resolution. We were only told he was given a warning via Telegram after asking several times for an update via Telegram. Several of us felt very unsafe sharing the same environment with someone who refused to leave us alone after repeated pleas and still felt uninhibited to continue to harass us. We have reviewed the DEF CON Code of Conduct, and this incident is a clear violation of that policy. The policy states, be excellent to each other. If a participant is, in our sole discretion, harassing or otherwise unacceptably impacting other participants' ability to enjoy DevCon, we at all times reserve the right to remove the offending persons from the event without a refund. The harasser directly impacted several individuals' ability to enjoy DevCon. A timeline here is posted. 10:30, arrived at the photo booth, take a picture. 10:40 a.m., we report the incident to a volunteer and ask for security escalation. 10:40 to 11 a.m., we stand there waiting within 20 feet of the harasser. 11 a.m., volunteers get Ethereum Foundation. 11 to 11:10 a.m., Ethereum Foundation briefly talks to 3 of the 11 women present during the incident without getting the full story. 11:10 to 11:20, EF talks to the harasser while standing there in clear view of him. 11:20 a.m., EF reps walk away without talking to us and let the harasser go. 11:20 a.m., no one checks in to update us about the conversation they had, giving us the impression that they took his word for what happened. 11:30 a.m., we posted in a Telegram group to speak directly with organizers. No one responds until the next day. 12 p.m., first tweet goes out about the incident, and that's where it blew up on crypto Twitter. In response to false allegations, on October 11th, I left the DevCon venue around 1:30 p.m. because I felt extremely uncomfortable with the lack of response and action against the harasser. I never followed him. So again, this kind of differs from his story, or came within 10 feet of him ever. After the EF reps talked to him, I never saw him again that day. I never accused the harasser or told security at DevCon that this person was taking pictures of him. I was not present when or if the security guards checked his phone. I never looked at his phone because I was never near him. He said that she was looking at his phone when it was being checked the second time and they were going through it, the security guards. And I had already left the venue, says Daphne. The harassers never told us to just jump for the picture. What we experienced was repeated thumbs down and booing our group. Even after several of us repeatedly telling him to stop, as we all just wanted to enjoy taking the picture, he refused. I never heard, maybe it was like a real miscommunication here. Maybe, like, I don't know. Maybe she thought it was booing. Maybe he had like a deep voice, or maybe he was booing at the situation. I really don't know at this point. She says, I never harassed or falsely accused anyone. I reported harassment first to volunteers, DevCon staff via Twitter, and then formally to the leadership team. I left the venue within 2 hours of the incident. I never took or sent a photo of the harassers to the organizers of the rave. The organizers of the rave reached out to me first, asked me his name, and told me that he wouldn't be welcome at the rave. Several people, including myself, felt uncomfortable with the harasser being in line at the same time as us. I notified an organizer that he was in line. I never requested that he be kicked out of the party. So that kind of reminds me of one time when I had like a bully in middle school, and he would like spit on me during PE when we're doing physical education. I was like the loner kid. I was like the kid without any friends, and I was sitting there, and every day he would come up to me and spit and say random stuff. Whatever. And then there was, I think after like a month of this going on, I was in the locker room at the bathroom, and I went to the porta potty, and my bully at the time was behind me, and there was probably another kid back there as well in line. I was at the front. I go to pee. I drop, I unzip. I'm about to, and I'm thinking, wow, if I start to pee, this kid's gonna do something like push me or something, and I'm gonna get pee all over myself. So in that moment, after unzipping myself, my thought was like, defend myself, turn around and punch this guy. And that's exactly what I did. So we got in a fight. I didn't really get suspended. I broke his glasses. Oh, no, he broke my glasses, and I put something on his face after that. He never really bothered me again. So I don't know if the moral of the story here is to stand up for yourself physically, but probably not. I guess I could have told the teacher, but when you're in middle school, that's especially if you're like a dude back then. I don't know if it's the same for girls. I guess you guys could let me know, but it was even more emasculating. Like I imagine I would have been picked on. Like, oh, you went and you ratted to teacher, because that happened to me once. Somebody actually. Anyway, I had a weird time in middle school. Point being, when I was there and I was about to get to when I was at the porta potty, I know what that feeling is. Of feeling like somebody who's harassed you in the past. How would even if they weren't harassing you at that moment, feeling extremely uncomfortable to the point that it resulted in me having to get physical. One of the only times in my life that I've really started something like that. So that seems like a legitimate feeling to have here. So she continues, the original report and complaint was signed by 25 women. Co-signers of this report have been redacted to protect the individual's safety and security. There are categorically untrue statements being said about me and other people's organizations involved with this incident. As it is much too late to take appropriate action against the harasser, I am proposing the following solutions: an amendment to the DevCon Code of Conduct to institute a zero tolerance policy for harassment when multiple reports are received, on-call safety and support team available on-site for anyone to report incidents, a public response from the Ethereum Foundation team detailing the incident, what they could have done better, and how they will improve to keep the entire community safe, a full-time professional hired by the Ethereum Foundation team to put appropriate policies and procedures and training to protect the safety of all in future events, open source DEI training provided as a resource for the broader Web3 community. In addition, I would like to apologize to anyone who has been directly or indirectly hurt by the hateful vitriol based on me posting the message on Twitter. It's very hateful. It got really hateful. The allegations against this person are real, and they were submitted and reported by multiple people. I was a person who sent the tweet, and the intention behind that was to create safety. In hindsight, I should have circled out who was the harasser in the picture and blurred out any innocent bystanders or found other avenues to have my concerns heard. This obviously has had the opposite effect for everyone involved, and for that, I apologize. Well, I guess that's a fair apology for not respecting the anonymity of others by posting that picture. But that picture does remain up to this very day, to this very moment. You can still find that picture up on her Twitter. So why doesn't she just like blur it and remove it now? That I find weird, issuing an apology without really making amends. That's I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy there. That being said, I stand by my initial statement. The intention of this was purely to make sure that no other person would be subjected to this treatment at DevCon or any of their events. The situation has highlighted an insidious, misogynistic, and racist underbelly of the crypto industry. It is heartbreaking to see that standing up for those affected has resulted in hundreds of racist, sexist comments and threats of physical violence against me. Ouch. I actually didn't see any of those, the physical violence or anything like that. It sickens me to think there are individuals out there who decided to center themselves in this trauma and use it as a moment to benefit themselves and their organizations. Moments like these are when genuine allies rise above and faux advocates show their true colors. Thank you to everyone who has reached out and supporting me and others. I hope this brings about greater change in the industry as a whole. Speaking out is never necessary, but it is important. TLDR, I reported harassment. Yeah, you guys got the whole thing. We just went through it. I don't think you need a TLDR. Point being, this was being seen as some sort of care and some sort of hyper woke movement that others had not been privy to, that was now entering the Ethereum unicorn crowd and erupted in probably the biggest drama over the weekend. So yeah, that was, I mean, I did go through, oh, Joe, yeah, we don't care about the drama, just crypto. Just bring it up because I think it is related, inclusion in crypto and crying wolf in crypto somewhat. And something that does potentially stand to disrupt the way that these conferences are ran in the future and access to that. But I did cover most of the news that I was going to get out relevant to today earlier in the video. So this was pretty much it. That's what I wanted to share with you guys for the day. And since this was relevant, I thought you might care to hear about it as well. Anyway, I don't have some sort of concrete proof as to what happened. Now there are allegations both ways, so take that for what it is. But like last I saw a brown backpack guy. He was, I think, proud of being called brown backpack guy, despite his anonymity being gone, because it was his cover picture now on Twitter. I don't have it up here, but yeah, I guess you can check that out for yourself. Oh yeah, so L says, I care about being safe and comfortable, so unfortunately this interests me. I'm happy for you, though glad you don't have to concern yourself. Yeah, I'm sure it's relevant to some people. So hopefully you did enjoy this bit of news if it was relevant to you. And I will finish up with our quote of the day since it has been quite of a longer video. I think it's relevant since we are in this kind of fighting phase with crypto, fearing like regulations will really disrupt this movement. And is it too late for cryptos to truly be free? Should we just give up? I don't know about that. I like this quote by Anne Bronte. But he that dares not grasp the thorn should never crave the rose. I'm still craving that rose. And hopefully with many of you guys. Take care, everyone. Much love and stay cryptic. Peace.